bottom of my phone was in the...
How do you feel getting to know, / getting attached to these quote-unquote strangers so quickly?
Getting used to new people hasn't really been a problem. Honestly, I thought I was going to be alone for most of this school year, but within the first 2 weeks of meeting new people and becoming really good friends with them, even now, almost to the end of the first year, it's been a blessing.
Well, I mean, it was kind of like I had to, or else I would be alone. So I'm like, okay, might as well find people who are good, which I failed at first. I got around to it.
I honestly feel like I'm in elementary school again, like just going up to random people and saying, "Hi, you want to be my friend? What's your favorite color?" That's what it feels like.
At first, it was a little weird for me because I've only ever lived in Marquette. I've never switched schools, so I grew up with everyone from elementary school basically. But I think I got used to it pretty quick. It wasn't hard to adjust to.
I mean, it was a little surprising because I was very fortunate in middle and high school. I always had a very large and solid friend group. I know that this is not how it's going to be all throughout life. And so I was expecting to have to work a little bit harder to make a good group of friends and to get a large network of people. And then you all just fucking showed up in the same hall as I did.
It was pretty surprising for me. I never expected to get myself involved with a really big group of people. I've never really, besides me and my sisters and my sister's friends, I've always hung out with them. I never had a really big group of friends, so this is different, and I'd say it's very nice, but also at the same time it's very different because it's a large group, so it's not as intense close proximities. I don't really know.
What is something you've learned from living with these people?
How to have fun, just even when it looks like you could be doing nothing, even when it looks like nothing could fill a gap to make the day fun. Just the smallest of things can make the biggest of impacts on a single day.
Oh. I don't have one.
Okay.
Next.
You get injured a lot easier. And you understand a lot of big kid stuff really fast.
That's so valid.
I definitely have a lot more freedom. I feel like it's a good environment for the age we are.
I have learned that it's okay to not know every single detail and have to know exactly how everybody's feeling all the time. So in high school, all of my friends and I were very, very close, and that was great. We tiptoed around each other's needs so much, and we were so aware of everything. And so it's really nice to be able to have living independently, and so I can make my own choices with how I spend my time and what I prioritize, but then also with other people who are living on their own and who are finding the same things, that we can still be separate entities while also jamming together every single day.
Probably to clean more and keep my room cleaner than I did at home. I definitely have been better with that here than I do at home. I was pretty independent at home, so I feel like it kind of just has transferred over to here, that I haven't really had that much of a difference.
What is something you want to tell your past self about this year or your experience this year?
If I could tell my past self something, learn self-discipline quickly, please.
The fact that people aren't scary and most people are good, so don't have to worry about that. And to have fun, which I learned and did and went for, so that worked out well.
It gets a whole lot better. Just keep going because it gets so much better.
That it's going to be okay, and that moving away from home is not the hardest battle that you're going to face, and that everything will work out and you'll make great friends.
Making decisions is fucking hard and scary, but putting the decision off is not going to make making it any easier. And so I know you're kind of pissing your pants about what the future is going to look like, but you'll be fine. Work through it. Talk about it with people. Oh my God.
Something I would want to tell my past self is definitely that things will get better, and like, even though that like I didn't make friends right away in college, or at least like friends who I was like really happy to hang out with, and even though it like took a little bit longer, that you'll get there. Also, I would want to tell myself that like school's going well. I definitely had a harder relationship with school during high school than I do now, and that it got better.
Who do you think understands you the most?
Does that the person who I'd say who understands me the most outside of the group is definitely my friend Colton back at home. We do everything together, and I mean, we've just hit it off. But in the group, I'd probably Danny. Danny would understand me the most. Although we very much so have different ideas on a lot of things, he's probably the most understanding of things.
In the world.
I think that's a great answer.
I'd have to say Ainsley. One, because we know each other for almost 9 years, and I basically, at this point, tell her everything. She could read me like a book.
Outside my family, for sure. Inside, I don't know, you and Nolan kind of, I don't know. Nolan kind of reminds me of my brother, so I kind of click with him like that way. And the AP, everyone, I don't know.
Let's go.
I think different people like understand different aspects of me, like AP with the long distance, Lesko and Cassidy like understand what it's like to be like gay and like that. Definitely, like they understand like that part, you know. Cass and Josie with like the divorced parents, you know, like there's different like similarities with everyone that like a different person understands like different parts of me, and I think that's really nice and helpful.
Nice. Okay, all done.
Yay!
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
It sounded like a slur. I know what it's like to be
Gay.